Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. This is Dr. Herbert Harris, and this is Success Mentorship Class number 338. Wow, that's been a lot of time we spent together, but I am so thankful for being here with you. It has been my joy, my honor, and my pleasure. Today's topic is how to develop your success team. And I wanted to pick that topic because as we are progressing to the last portion of this year, we are now basically halfway through the eighth month. And so we have about 4.5 months left in the year. Wow. And so as we move forward through this year, I want to give us tips and assistance on things that can help us do better, be better, and give us a much greater possibility of achieving the results that we want for this year. All of us have goals for this year, things we'd like to do, be, and have. And the purpose of these talks, this whole series, is how to make you better, how to make us better in doing what must be done to accomplish the things we desire. Of course, I invite our visitors and all of us to visit our website, herbertharris.com. www.herbertharris.com, and there are all kinds of goodies there, the success toolbox and other ideas, other things that can help you be, do, and have anything you desire. Before we get into our talk for the day, let us do our meditation to put us in the proper framework, the proper place where we need to be to get where we want to go in our consciousness and in our lives. So let's just sit straight up in our seats, close our outer eyes, open our inner eyes, and take a deep breath and hold it. Let it out slowly. Take a deep breath and hold it. Let it out slowly. And in the space of peace and relaxation, I am at peace with myself. Let us affirm that together. I am at peace with myself. Once more. I am at peace with myself. Just let that peace sink in. Take a deep breath. Let it out slowly. And in this space of peace and relaxation, my mind is open, receptive, and ready to learn. Let us affirm that together. My mind is open, receptive, and ready to learn. Let that sink in. Take a deep breath. Let it out slowly. And so it is. All right. Beautiful. Well, I love to open with a quote. And when we talk about how to develop your success team, one of the most powerful quotes, Helen Keller. Helen Keller was a lady who was blind, but had such an impact on the world. She was a teacher, she was a speaker, and she really gave the world an opportunity to see how high a person could go, how powerful, how impactful a person could go, even though they could not see. You know, one of the things she said that not having sight was problematic, was interesting, but having sight with no vision was terrible. Her quote was this: alone, we can do so little. Together, we can do so much. I'll repeat that. Alone, we can do so little. Together, we can do so much. Wow. And so when we look at this thought, I guess the question that arises before we talk about how to build a team is the question of why to build a team. Why do we need to surround ourselves with people who are on one accord with us, who are helping us, who are becoming a part of whatever our vision is and getting it done? And really and truly, we have to build a team because there's a certain level of power that you cannot access by yourself. Now, that's a powerful thought. In other words, there's a beautiful quote from a lady. He said, no one can whistle a symphony. It takes a whole orchestra to play it. No one can whistle a symphony. It takes a whole orchestra to play it. And so what this is saying is that there are certain powers, there's certain power relationship that you cannot access by yourself. I'll give some scripture, and this is not about religion, it's about spiritual principle. I look at the Bible and all of the holy books as sources of spiritual principle. And in the book of Matthew, chapter 19 and 20, it says two very, very powerful things, which gives us a spiritual foundation for this idea of why build a team. In verse 19, it says, again, I say unto you that if two of you shall agree on earth as touching anything that they shall ask, it shall be done for them of my Father which is in heaven. And so metaphysically, that's saying that anytime two people can touch and agree on any particular endeavor, then that thing that they're working on shall come to pass because they have introduced a different level of power. A power that comes from the Creator, power that comes from the infinity of all that is. Verse 20 goes on even, for where two or three are gathered together in my name, there I am in the midst of them. And that I am, every time you have that I am, that am I, that I am principle, it's really about the making power. And so the reason we have to build teams, the reason we have to come together is there is a greater power when we operate together on one accord. It's a harmonic vibration. You know, so much we can learn so much from the idea of the orchestra and the symphony, that even if you have all the instruments in the orchestra play their exact part alone, you don't get it. You don't get the vibration. But when you have everybody play together, it creates harmonic vibrations, harmonic overtones that gives you a sound that individually they can't create. And so in this idea of harmonic relationship, the sum of the parts, the end results is greater than the sum of the parts. So why should you create a team? Why must you create a team? You must create a team to access another level of power to manifest and get things done in your life. When we work together on one accord, this harmonic vibration now, this energy level, and you know, energy and vibration are interchangeable with manifestation. E equals mc squared. E, energy, vibration, has a corresponding M, manifestation. Now, this is a conceptual formula. It's not one that you can say, well, let's calculate. No, it just says that whatever you want with a level of desire, whatever you project in a thought, that there's a corresponding vibration. And based on the intensity of that thought, there will be a manifestation. But when you have two or more people gathered on one accord, on one thought, it creates a harmonic vibration where 1 + 1 + 1 is more than 3. Even when we look at the boat that is our lives, when we think about that, the boat that is our lives, we exist on the river of time, and the boat that is our lives consists of a rudder, which is our value system, consists of an engine, which is our level of desire, the thing that keeps us going, consists of sails, because the winds of time, the winds of the world blow on all boats. But how you adjust your sails, your attitude, your mindset determines whether the wind blows you over or blows you ahead. And then finally, you have your crew. And it's so very easy. You know, we were watching the Olympics, and the guys, the rowing crew, was it the fellows who row together, the rowing team, they won a medal. And they could only win a medal, they could only win because they were rowing together on one accord with a certain rhythm. If they were rowing in opposite directions, the boat would just go around in circles. And so this idea of a team says that this principle gives you access to universal power. You're able to tap into the universal force, the God mind, the good mind. Something else happens too. The moment you have a group or a team concept, there's always required to be a leader. So you know that poem, I think, Invictus, I am the captain of my ship and the master of my destiny. That when we look at the boat that is your life, you must be the leader of that boat. You must be the one in charge. And so anytime we talk about a team, we must also talk about leadership. Spiritually, it's the Moses principle. When we talk about that, and the story of Moses and uh, coming to bringing the Israelis out of the land of Egypt. But there's a principle, and it says that anytime there's a change in any significant way, a leader is necessary. Right now, we're on the what is this? August 17th. So we'll be celebrating the 61st anniversary of the March on Washington. But when you think of the March on Washington, would it have happened without Dr. King? Hmm? And so a leader was needed to bring about any change in your life. You have to take personal leadership, personal responsibility to bring about any changes in your life. And to be most effective, you need a team to do it. I mean, in all levels, you look at Apple. If there were no Steve Jobs, do you think there would be an Apple? So that leader is always that person who is identified as the prime mover, the one who makes it happen. There were many other leaders with Dr. King, but Dr. King is the one who was the one that pulled it together. When you look at Apple, Jeff Bezos, Steve Wozniak, he had a whole garage full of people, but they were all working on one accord. And that gave him greater power to do the great things and build the largest corporation that's ever been. Even Amazon, Jeff Bezos. When you look at Amazon, if you ever meet Jeff Bezos, not really a physically impressive person, but he had a vision, and that vision manifested one of the biggest sales organizations on the planet. So this idea of leadership is critical. Whatever you want to do, there must be a leader, and it must be you. So how do you develop that leadership, that team that is necessary to help you get wherever you want to go? How do you develop that team that helps you live your purpose, that helps you become successful in life? Just a family, the microcosm, that's a team. You see a family that's not on one accord and you got problems. So this concept works on all levels, from like the one or two people working together to thousands and millions of people on one accord. So how do you develop a team? What are the steps to develop a team now? When I was laying this out, there's so many other variables, but I wanted to just give you some very, very fundamental principles that can help you put your team in place to accomplish the things you desire. Number one, be the leader of you. You know, those harmonic relationships are important. So you have to know who you are before you can become an effective leader. Will people follow you? Yes, we're living in a world right now where we have a lot of people following different leaders that may not even be worthy of being followed. People are following leaders who don't even mean them any good. So this idea of be the leader of you is critical. You must develop yourself to be able to help others get where they need to go. You have to know where you're going. You must have the vision. You must have the objectives. You know, when we look at that scriptural principle, and it says, where there is no vision, watch this, the people perish. Isn't that interesting? Not you perish, but where there is no vision, the people perish. So that first step of leadership, you have to have the vision. You have to understand the objectives. Not only that, you must know the path. One of the powers of being spiritually connected, when we look at the Moses principle, when Moses was on Mount Horeb and the burning bush, God was speaking to him through the burning bush, the bush that was not consumed. He gave Moses a commission to go do certain things, to go free his people. And so, as a leader, you must know the path. And many times you only know it because of that spiritual connection with your source. You know, Moses was living a very comfortable life, and something drove him up there on the mountain. You know, he had just backstory. He had killed one of the overseers and had to escape from Egypt. He'd been a very powerful person in Egypt, and then he had to escape, and he went to a new land, and he was living a quite comfortable life, but something drove him. So inside, there's something in you that drives you towards your vision, towards your mission. So you have to know the path, and you have to know what it takes to get there. You also have to know your skills and your weaknesses. And so to be an effective leader, step one is an inside job. You must do the things to you, for you, in your own development, and connect in with the infinite source so that you will have the power now to be an effective leader, to help other people do what they need to do to get where you want to go. Step two, choose the right people. That once you really understood the journey and what it takes and what your shortcomings are, then you want to choose people who are congruent with what you're doing. You want to choose people who complement your skills. So maybe you're a big picture person. You may need somebody who's a detailed person. You know, very often a big picture person can see that big vision, but they can't break it down into those step by steps that people need to be able to follow along. So choose people who have complementary skills. One of the interesting things about life is that many times you don't get to choose your team, especially with your family. Many of us who are in different businesses, sometimes we say, well, man, I'd like to go out and choose a team of folks who are like, heavy duty, hard workers who know what they're doing. Most of the time in life, you have to take the team you have and make them who they can be. One of the attributes of a leader is to see in other people what they may not see in themselves. So as a leader, you may have to take people from where they are to where they can be. But a lot of that power comes from being connected to your source. and then let the God mind direct you and take you along the way. Number three, you got to be on the same page. To have an effective team, the leader and all of the participants must be on the same page. So that means you really have to look for an alignment of values and alignment of vision. That there must be a common purpose, a common vision. When you're in business, when you're putting together a team, watching the Olympics was so beautiful because you could see the different teams, how important it was for each person to do their role. I was watching the basketball game when America, man, I tell you, they came close to losing. And that's a scary thought, that America could lose. And I mean, man, we had the best basketball players in the world, but they came close to losing. But what did they do? They pulled together as a team. And so that being on one accord, one of the key things to recognize in this idea of being on the same page is that everybody is not right for your team. And not only that, everybody is not right for your team for the entire journey. There's some people who can get you from point A to point B. When you climb a mountain, when you go to climb Mount Everest, it's always a team effort. When you start out, generally the guys who climb the mountain, they start out with a group of about 40 or 50 people. And as they climb the mountain, they get to what they call base camps. And these are certain levels, certain altitudes where certain people in the group say, well, this is as far as I can go. And then the group of 40 breaks down to a group of 20, and they go to another altitude. They go a little higher. They establish another base camp, and then there's a group say, well, we don't go any higher than this. And so in building a group, building a team, to realize that everybody may not be there for the entire journey, but to understand that you can still help them grow, because when you help them fulfill their purpose, Dr. King said, if you're going to be a street sweeper, be the best street sweeper in the world. So that when people walk down that street, they say, well, this street was swept by Herbert Harris. This street is so clean, you can eat off of it. Set goals and roles. You see, when you see this alignment of values and vision, then it's easier to set goals and roles so that everybody knows what to do. Step number 4. Operate from a space of trust and responsibility. You see, trust is the foundation of every team. In families, if there's no trust in the families, you've seen what happens. I was watching one of the one of those judge programs, and the lady's daughter had stolen from her boyfriend, and the lady said to her boyfriend, she said, "Well, my daughter's a thief. That's what she does." And I know that many of us have family members that their behaviors, their mindset, their actions are not congruent with your values, with your sense of trust and reliability. And so to understand that, so that recognize that you need people who are reliable, who are dependable, and who have integrity. So as a leader in building a team, it's important that you understand people and are able to figure them out and see where they fit in the team. There's some people that their only job is to set up the room. As a speaker and as a co-minister, there's certain people, their job is to set up the room, and that's their beauty. They love it. And so to understand that everybody has their role, and as a leader to understand their role so that you can now set goals and roles for them that offer them the ability to complete themselves. Step number 5, to be a good leader, to develop a good team. Don't be a know-it-all. Whew, that's probably one of the hardest ones because many times the people who lead are people who just wanted to be the leader. See, really, the best leaders are servant leaders who are leading not because their ego tells them they want to be on top, but who are leading because their mission tells them that this is what they must do. You know, that Moses principle, when you get a chance to read that section, because in that Moses principle, Moses was happy after he escaped from Egypt. He was cool. He had a family and everything was going good. But there was something inside that said there's a mission that you have to accomplish. And so once you understand, be mission driven and service driven, so you have to change ego to we go. Whenever you have leaders who are ego driven, the results will never be good for all people. So change ego to we go. And when you say when I say don't be a know-it-all, to seek mentors, get advice from other people who've been there. You know, there's some leaders that want to hold all the information, like, so I'm the only one who knows what's going on. I'm the only one who knows where we're going. No. You want to be open. You want to seek mentors, seek advice from somebody who's been there, because that then can cut down your learning curve, can keep you from falling in the ditch. You want to encourage a culture of communication. That means you got to learn to listen. See, that culture of communication is powerful because you move from cooperation to collaboration. And that then is acknowledging the other person's value, acknowledging their ability to think, their ability to deliver. That gives you the ability to take advantage of all the creativity of the people who are there. Step 6, set the pace. Lee Iacocca said something very powerfully. He basically said, listen, if the company ain't working, it's the leader that's not working. It was a beautiful quote. He said this. Lee Iacocca said, I have always found that the speed of the boss is the speed of the team. In network marketing and in sports and other areas, we call it the speed of the leader is the speed of the team. So as a leader, you must set the pace. You must set proper expectations so that each person can fulfill that purpose that they're there for. You must be able to assess, to evaluate, and then to address what must be done. You see, the leadership role is a profound one, and it requires skills that you can only get by accessing infinite intelligence. And the moment you can put that group together on one accord, that gives you as a leader access to the infinite intelligence you need to be wise and guide. Be accountable. You see, when you're accountable, that lets your team know that you're in it with them. In the military, there were two kinds of leaders. There was a leader who pointed to the hill and said, you guys go take that hill. And then there were leaders who said, follow me. Let's take that hill together. And finally, number 7, be lavish in praise and recognition. Praise raises people up. When you show appreciation for what other people do, it gives them a feeling inside that's warm and fuzzy. It gives them an inspiration to want to do more. When you have a good leader, then you have people who will lay down their life for the mission. And it's because they feel that the leader will lay down his or her life for them too. Celebrate success. So much of what makes people move and do things is that validation of who they are. Celebrate success and acknowledge everybody's contribution. You see, when you can do that, you really put yourself in a position now to access the power through the team concept, to mold that power through these 7 steps, and then to take the power of that group now to fulfill the mission and the vision. So let us summarize. I hope this is helpful because each and every one of us is on a journey the rest of this year and really the rest of our lives. And we must recognize certain things. Number one, you need a team. In order to access that universal power, two or more on one accord, touching and agreeing, to access that power, you must have a team to create that harmonic vibration that multiplies rather than just adds. Number two, to realize that a team requires a leader, that no matter what the program is, a team requires a leader. When you have a strong family, it's because you have a strong leader. It may be the mother, it may be the father, but somebody's a strong leader. Sometimes the greatest leaders are the greatest encouragers, the ones who understand that there's somebody else that has a certain skill, and all they have to do is encourage them to use it. Then you use these 7 steps to develop your team, to develop your group, to develop the people around you so that you can all operate on one accord. Number one, to be the leader of you, to have the vision, to understand the journey, and to be able to share it. Number two, to choose the right people, people who complement you and your skills, but also realize that everybody is not there for the entire journey. A person can only rise and cooperate to the level of their consciousness. Number three, be on the same page. Look for those common values, that common vision, because it is in plugging into that common vision that you're able to access the power to make it happen. Number four, be trustworthy. To always operate from a space of truth and reliability so that your word means something, so that you say what you're going to do and you do what you say, that you can be counted on, that people know that when you're doing it, they can trust you. Number six, don't be a know-it-all. Change your ego to we go. To be open and receptive to other people's ideas, to other people's vibrations, to other people's experiences, so that you can mold them to make them better. Number six, set the pace. Be the leader that you want yourself to be. Somebody said, we don't have any good leaders. Well, then be the good leader. The speed of the group is the speed of the leader. If things are not going the way you want them to, go look in the mirror. And then finally, number seven, the great power of them all, to raise people up, to be lavish in their praise and in recognition. When you can do these things, you can create a team, you can create a group, whether it's a family group, a church group, a neighborhood group, a business group, the head of a multi-billion-dollar corporation. Is the same principles. That when you can do these things, when you can create this vibration that everybody can plug into and operate on one accord, nothing is impossible. Then you can truly be what you want to be, do what you want to do, and have anything you desire, knowing that the best is yet to come. Let's just take a deep breath for a moment and let it out slowly. This message I felt compelled to share it today because this next part of the journey to this year, we're going to have to multiply our powers. We're going to have to magnify our effectiveness. And we're going to have to be able to get access to all that we need to get where we want to go. And this concept of teams, leadership, and we go over ego is the secret to get it done. Be sure to visit our website, www.herbertharris.com. Book a call with me if you feel that you need some additional assistance, consultation, clarity. Book a success call, complimentary call. Go to my website, herbertharris.com, book a call, and let's talk about it. Maybe we can help. So those on Instagram, thanks so much for being with us. Those on Zoom and our discussion group, hang on. We're going to have some discussion and feedback. And remember this, always remember this, that you have the power to be anything you want to be, that you have the power to do anything you want to do, and the power to possess and enjoy anything you desire, always knowing that the best is yet to come. And so it is.